Hey guys, today I'm going to be painting a picture of the singer Rihanna, and I'm also going to be taking this opportunity to discuss some tips on drawing what you see rather than what you think you see with regards to drawing real life images or things in front of you and trying to replicate them and make them look exactly like what you see. It's kind of a big deal to be able to visualize what you're seeing and translate that to paper. And it's the biggest, most important skill that I think any artist should strive to work on. Whether your ultimate goal is reproducing super hyper realistic images or not, learning how to draw what you see is very valuable. Even if you're gonna draw abstract or surrealistic paintings and stuff like that, observing nature and observing things in real life can help you look at things like patterns and colors and incorporate that into your surrealism pictures. So it is a useful skill. And honestly, even if you don't really have any interest in hyper-realistic paintings, it's not a bad foundation to know how to create hyper-realistic paintings, or at least replicate what you see in front of you. So one of the biggest things that I noticed when new or beginner artists draw something is they tend to draw what they think something looks like. So let's say you put a sunflower in front of somebody in a pot and you tell them, draw that sunflower in front of you. Most people would just start drawing a sunflower or just a flower or whatever they think a flower looks like. They would just start drawing a line for the stem and some squiggles for the petals and so on and so forth. Instead of observing, oh, here's the pot the sunflower is sitting in, and then the stem is coming out of the center of it, and the pot is 3 inches in height, whereas the stem is 5 inches in height, and the buds of the flower are 1 inch long, or something like that. I am constantly measuring with my eyeballs what I'm drawing when I'm using a reference. So in this instance, I'm drawing a picture of the singer Rihanna, like I said, and I'm literally measuring the distance from the top of her forehead to her eyebrows, to the distance from her eyebrows to her eyes, and the bottom of her eyes to her nose, and then how far away her mouth is to her chin versus her nose. You'll see that I do some adjusting throughout this entire image. And luckily, thanks to digital painting, I can take the lasso tool and move things around. But you'll see I readjust her proportions several times because they're not what I'm seeing, they're what I'm thinking I'm seeing. I still struggle with drawing this way, and with drawing what I think an eyeball looks like or what I think a pair of lips looks like rather than what I'm seeing on that picture of Rihanna. So it was a bit of a back and forth even with this painting. But like I said, I'm concentrating on not just like the measurements and the lines and the distances between the eyebrows and distances of proportions and how far away things are from each other. I'm focusing on the empty space around those things I'm drawing as well. Sometimes that's almost more important to me than anything. Like, for example, if I'm drawing hair, I don't draw individual lines of hair because most people would think that, oh, it's a head of hair. It's made of a bunch of tiny little hairs. Let me just scribble some straight lines and then that's going to be hair. Well, that's not really how it works in real life. Even though they are individual hairs in real life, your brain doesn't visually process the picture of someone's hair as a billion tiny lines like that. You see it in shapes, in positive space and negative space. So the positive space would be the person's hair, and the negative space would be everything around it. But you can even think of it as within the hair there's positive and negative space. So like I will draw a large blob shape or like a triangular shape for the hair, or I'll just kind of do the outline of the hair. If I'm doing like a bob style hair style, then I'll do like the shape of the bob, and then I'll just do accent lines here and there where the hair would crease against each other, or like if a piece of the hair is tucked behind the ear, like I have here in this painting of Rihanna, where it's tucked behind the hair, there's a little fold in the hair where it goes behind the ear. I would draw that line, but I wouldn't draw like each individual line of hair, if that makes sense. You kind of just simplify things and add more detail in certain areas and leave negative space in between, so that you can kind of fool the eye into thinking that there's more detail, and you can fool the eye into knowing what that shape's supposed to look like, because shapes are what's important in drawing, and that is what it comes down to. The basics of art come down to, what shapes am I looking at? Is that like a triangle? Is that like a square? Is that line this distance from that line? What shapes am I looking at, negative or positive? That is the main thing that you should be concerned about. Don't think, oh, I'm going to draw a face. Let me draw 2 eyes and a mouth. Don't even think about a face. Draw what you see. Draw the lines. Of course, I'm sure you've heard this before, but take your reference image and turn it upside down and try and draw the picture you're trying to draw, but do it upside down and just look at the lines. Don't pay attention to, oh, I'm drawing an eyeball right now, or oh, I'm drawing a nose. No, just look at the lines. And you're not going to be able to do this right away, but the more you do it and the more you think in that way, the less you're going to think about, oh, I'm drawing an object. You're going to just start drawing what your eyeballs see. And then a strange thing happens. It completely changes your entire perspective on your whole world around you. And you'll start seeing things in completely different ways than you ever did before. And you'll realize that your brain kind of fills in information for you regularly to make your day-to-day life easier. It auto-recognizes things. You'll see a book and your brain goes, that's a book. We don't need to look at any more detail. Instead of you being like, oh, that's a book. It's red. It has this texture on it. It has these lines on it. And once you start to really think like an artist, you'll start to notice more detail in things and be more conscious of it. And you might even appreciate your environment more, which would be a pretty cool change in life, huh? But again, observation is the key to everything that you do with art. But maybe in a future episode, guys, I can talk about something like how I go about shading, or how I go about blending colors and skin tone. But for now, I figured I'd start with something very basic, just explaining how I draw basically everything in my life. And then once you start getting really good at drawing what you see, like I said, you'll start to get really good at imagining things and creating things out of your mind. So this is a good starting point. If there's anything you guys want to see me draw, by the way, please throw a comment down below and let me know what you want me to draw, alright? And also, if you like my advice or you like my art and you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. I post new videos almost every week. I try to. If not every week, it's every couple weeks, but not usually any less frequent than that. and I got plenty of tutorials and advice and speed painting videos, and I do stuff with Infinite Painter, and I do stuff with acrylic paints on canvas and paper as well. So please check out my channel if you have time. Also, give this video a like if it was useful to you, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Please come back if you like what you saw. Have a good one.